Good. Okay, Dot, please.
How do I get, is the
Yeah,
sound
all
on?
go. Go for your life.
Oh, kia ora tātou. Hopefully you've all read my submission. One of the things I pointed out in my submission was that car park charges for the Hagley Park, this chair's out of control, Hagley Park parking are not sort of equal across the city, and that parking influences older people and people who are interested in botany and art and things, parking charges. But meanwhile, all around Christchurch, there's sports grounds and places where cars are parking on berms and all over the place. And I just think that if there's going to be car park charges in Hagley Park, there should be car park charges around sports grounds. And I don't, because we want to try and get cars off the city, off the streets, not more and more cars coming into the city to bring kids into sport and things. What's wrong with a bicycle or a bus? I think that the whole transport thing is very important for Christchurch in terms of reducing its climate change emissions. It's one of the few issues that we have control of. We can't control the war in Russia or in Gaza and all the emissions caused by that. So we need to really get working on the bus infrastructure and encouraging people to use buses and bicycles more to get the cars off the road. One of my other issues is I live in Hei, which is within the noise zone of Ruapuna Park, the raceway, the motor races, and so, you know, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, this is a constant background noise. And it always makes me wonder how much carbon tax these guys are paying for the emissions they're putting up there, and is there a great push to have trees all around the park so that it soaks up the carbon, or what sort of incentive is there for car users and car owners to be aware of and pay for their emissions apart from the petrol taxes and things like that? So I'm thinking about things like congestion tax and higher charges for inner city parking. In terms of buses, it's obvious that we need an increase in the frequency of buses on the suburban routes. We've got fairly good frequency on the big main routes, though Hornby I think is still 15 minutes. But in the suburban routes, if we want to get across town, like I live in Hei, but for me to go and visit someone in Avonhead, it takes 2 buses and about an hour of travel. And to get the links, you're left standing on a street corner, and there's not enough seats, there's not enough shade, there's not enough light at night, and there's not enough shelter from the prevailing cold winds in Christchurch. And as I get older, I notice this more and more because, you know, your bones are more sensitive to cold and you're a bit creaky. Sorry. My other issue with climate change in Christchurch is, of course, increasing biodiversity. And again, when I'm travelling around Christchurch, especially on a bus, you've got time to look at things. You know, you notice all these empty spaces where you think, gosh, that would make a good place to plant trees. You can plant 20 trees in there. And one of my pet topics at the moment is the old Sockburn swimming pool site, which it has the grass mowed, but as far as I can tell from my seat on the bus, there's virtually no sense of putting in improvements or making it more attractive to the public or planting it out as a carbon sink. The area at Wigram that used to be the airfield is another place that could become a really good urban forest with, why not? You could get one of our Christchurch millionaires to fence it and turn it into a, what do you call it? Ark in the park for species. I also really, I know too late to put this in my submission, I didn't hear about it, but the Wigram Air Force Museum, Arana Park and the Arts Centre, I fully support that these things should continue to be funded to a certain extent, and that they're a really valuable part of our city in terms of education, history and inclusiveness. They're funding things, you know, a lot of funding goes into sports and sports grounds in Christchurch, but it doesn't go into sort of things for other kids who just like mucking around or, you know, riding their bikes across parks and things. And that looks like my time.
Yeah, no, thank you. You've used up your time perfectly, but you've put your point of view across very well. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Kia ora.
Okay, so we have, I thought it was a good question. Yes. What have we got? Ruben, Selena, Mike, Kofi, and Guy.